D Smoke here. I just had a wonderful conversation with my man Nick from Hardknocktv. Y'all check in, stay tuned. I wasn't made to be no slave. Say hello to the mellow child. Dreadlocks clean as the mean amount. Inglewood swinging with a gap tooth smile, giving woes to these hoes, boy, I'm well endowed. And we're working with Sergio, Nip's director for all his videos.
Tough.
So he's gonna give me an edit of this other video we shot. He didn't do Lil Red or Honey Jack, which is coming out next week, but this stuff for the rollout going into our next project, he's gonna play a major role in that. So, and he's just invested in it, like, and a dope dude, like.
Y'all got similar energy.
You met Sergio?
No, you and Nip.
Oh,
you and Nip.
Man, and that's what Sergio said in this. I posted, and then I took it down, and you probably noticed. I posted just me in my house telling a story of like when I talked to Londynn B after the show. She was like, "Who you want to feature with now that we'll have access to other people?" I was like, "I want to feature Snoop, and I want to feature with Nip." And I thought me and Nip was gonna do something incredible because he's Crenshaw and Slauson. I'm Crenshaw and Manchester, and typically these are rival zones a mile from each other. You know what I'm saying? And to the point where the Inglewood families one time went in there and trashed his shop years before it was like the state-of-the-art shop it is or was. Him and the 60s pulled up on Crenshaw and Manchester like 6 cars deep. No, more than 6. Like it was like 50 niggas hopped out in the middle of their rival hood. Like no guns, like hopped out, like holler at us, like gangbanging. And it was just the kind of like respect he had from them and the kind of heart he had to one. This is not like, oh, I'm gonna just go spray the hood and shoot up grannies and you know what I'm saying? This is like, now we outside, on foot, in your zone. Like, and it was just the craziest shit some of the homies ever seen. They was like, and this was really just walking away like, oh no, like it looked like apocalypse. Like, you're not supposed to do that.
Right. Like,
it don't matter who you are. If you're that out of bounds, that deep. But I mean, he was just had that presence. And so, random story, but I really wanted to do some shit like Inglewood nigga and a 60s Slauson boy getting together on a song and going big and going bar for bar and having the beat stupid. Like, one, if there's nobody that's gonna be mad at it, you ain't pushing the envelope. And so it would definitely be people mad at it on both sides, but that's exactly what I wanted to do. But I think in his passing, it showed how much love, because his little parade went all through the city.
Right.
And the Bloods was all out there, banging, but not banging on them like, yeah, do it. You know what I'm saying? The Crips was doing it, and it wasn't hate. It was just like, yeah, it's love, no problems, no nothing. And so, but yeah, man, I really wanted to work with him. And I think you would have felt that energy of like, yeah, we understand this city, but we also think beyond the boundaries of it, so.
Did y'all ever get a chance to talk?
Man, we slapped fives one time. And it wasn't even on no music shit. It was like the place where he went to go get fresh juice. I was in there with my mom on some like omelet and fresh juice shit. Right. And I was like, Nip, you know what I'm saying? He was like, what's up? And that was it.
If y'all would have had a chance to talk, I would have just wanted to sit in on that conversation between the two of you, because every time I talked to him, he was always thinking about empowering our communities. Financially, mentally, emotionally, like thinking outside the box, creating our own lanes. Like, it seems like you're right on that same wave.
That's a high compliment. It's sad that it took what happened to him for people to see all of those interviews and those moments where it's like, this dude was a thinker of our time. Like that kind of mind, that kind of perspective that's just like out of here, So one of our Gandhis, just having a gangbang and really be about it, which is the most like crazy juxtaposition of everything,
But I think it forces people to take a fuller picture at people.
Yep.
Because it's so easy to put people in a box.
You could have done both. My thing is like, I do know the sad part about gangbanging is like, it's not wrong for what drives people to it. that element is innate.
Right.
Right? Everybody congregates. Everybody creates community, especially in the absence of the nuclear family, right? That is a human thing, right? The only thing is, at some point, due to some of the same external factors that I referenced earlier in the interview, where it's like these, whether it be labels kind of feeding what they say music is supposed to be for this era, labels who have stocks invested in, you know, fucking prisons and shit, like, due to those factors, including drugs and the shit that just randomly showed up in every hood and guns and shit, it took a turn, you know, from community protection, revolutionary shit to like, we shoot motherfuckers who don't wear our color, you know. And that part of it, unfortunately, is still real, and that's the part that, you know, calls for a whole lot of reform from the few artists. It's really the artists that have that kind of influence over it, you know. So, but yeah, Nip was the man.
Speaking of features, you mentioned Dot, another person that I saw almost all the fan base be like, Dot and J Cole. That's like who the fans want you to collaborate with the most. It's like, are you gonna give the fans what they want at some point? Not necessarily on the next project, but
let's say this. Let's say I would love to. Let's say that would be a dope moment. You know, it would challenge me to, in one song, distinguish myself, which is an interesting challenge. I trust myself creatively, and I sometimes I do so as a discipline. Other times I do so naturally. Like, the discipline is like, Smoke, you've been here. It's the self-talk, like, trust yourself, be like water. You know what I'm saying? And then it's okay to make mistakes even in the studio and go back in. Stay. The discipline is sometimes, all right, go again. It's late. Stay up. You know what I'm saying? So it's either by work or by self-talk, allowing those ideas to come. But I think working with Dot and Cole, one, they have a body of work already behind them, but they also have to like challenge themselves to do something new every time. You know what I'm saying? So in that same sense, you know, I think that would be dope. Is it an immediate order of business? No. Reason being, the fans are calling for it because there's kindred energy, you know. And I think a lot of times that's not necessarily the purpose of collaborations, to see two of the same similar energies or thought processes on the same song. You know, we have, even when Kendrick and Cole have worked together, it's Kendrick on the hook. Like, we're not gonna play into this kind of competitive verse for verse thing when we're, you know, we're contributing the same thing to the culture in our own way. You know what I'm saying? So they've been calling for that. They've been calling for that project, and similar to like Mayweather and Pacquiao, it took till they was like on their way out to be like, all right, let's make this fight happen. Right. They'll allow the conversation around it to build the hype and further what they're doing individually, but what purpose does it really serve? And I think them not getting on a song together kind of causes you to raise that question, like, is that smart? You know what I'm saying? Or is it even not smart? Is it necessary? Right. Artistically, creatively. You know what I'm saying? Does it raise any questions that aren't being raised? Or is it just kind of like, you know?
I got to play a little bit of a part on that because I was one of the first to interview Kendrick and Cole, and when I went down to Carson, Kendrick actually played me some of the songs they had together that never ended up coming out.
Oh, see, why you do that to me? I'm trying to be like diplomatic, like, yeah, man, they didn't do it because it's smart not to, and then you like, yeah, they got real songs, bro. Like, what?
It's funny though, because I mean, there's other stuff behind the scenes, but it was kind of that moment where, like, at one point, Cole kind of like his career came out a little earlier, so then they're like, oh, Kendrick do his thing first before the project comes out, and it's like, there's always going to be developments that happen. Right, it's just kind of like, anyways, don't want to get into that too much. Outside of yourself, who from the show do you think is going to have the most impactful career?
Outside of myself, the most impactful career. Impactful is one of my favorite words when you talk about what success looks like for me. Impactful. I'm gonna say it's tough. I'm in between Londynn B and Troyman. Troyman creatively is incredible to me. I've heard Troyman's music. I think his approach to writing is dope. And he does fun stuff, but I think it's just like, it's just, I think Troyman, I don't like comparisons, but how I felt when I heard like Ludacris shit is like how I feel when I hear Troyman shit. Like, it's entertaining, but it's not cheesy. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, okay, here today, going tomorrow. It's like, hey, we rooting for you. You know, I'm rooting for Troyman in that way. And I think his public will, when they really tap in and be like, oh shit, I love this nigga's music. Londynn B, I've just been around Londynn B, and Londynn B has such a strong presence. So when you say impactful, the reason I said Londynn B first is because she's a strong personality. You know what I'm saying? I have to talk about all the Final Four, right? Flawless is the father, like a real day-to-day father, an incredible rapper, and just a honest, you know, just fearless dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, that's just a hard question, but impactful. Oh, well, hold on, let me go back. I want Old Man Saxon to be the most impactful. You know, when I talk about the show, I get so used to talking about the Final Four.
Right.
But impactful, I think Old Man Saxon, like if you've seen his visuals that he puts out on his own outside of the show, he's an artist. You know what I'm saying? In every sense of the word, like he could paint and put it on the wall. You know, if you could just represent his art in a stills, like he's an artist. And I think kind of lending to the conversation about that we were having about rap being about to reach 50 years old, and it's still having fans who are craving something new, but not naive or not, you know, ignorant, for lack of a better word, in rap. Something new, fresh, but like something that we can let our guard down and be influenced by. I think he challenges that by being as playful as he is, but then when you go to the visuals, it's like it causes you, like good art makes you raise certain questions, and it causes you to start asking questions that, you know, lead you down your own path of discovery, whether it's dealing with youth. Like even some shit, he's a turtle on the beach in one of his videos, and it's so out the box, but then you start thinking about the environment from a weird perspective, and I think it's so enjoyable at the very same time. So I think he'll be somebody that's super impactful. You know, now that I'm thinking back, I want to like think about all the people that were there early, but he's a standout dude who I think should have been, you know, in the later rounds. I think next time around they'll really consider doing the eliminations from the battle rounds similar to how they did the cypher round.
Right.
You know, even though you battle people,
right,
both of y'all represented, both of y'all gone. This whole battle didn't represent, both of y'all going home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because then they would make for like a better final bunch.
Agree, 100%. When I saw that, I was like, man, you guys were pitting some people that should be advancing to the next round, and then there were some where I was like,
Beans should have been in the next round, because I think they deprived us, and not they, like I'm blaming somebody, but we were deprived of seeing how her like rap prowess turned into artistry.
right.
And that's
Yes.
a question we have yet to see answered.
I want to see that evolution in the show for sure.
Yes. What does she sound like on a song?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, man, God, you know, Pac big, let me make it out of the battle rap zone, and I'm gonna show these motherfuckers, you know, God, rap gods, you know what I'm saying? Let me make it out the battle zone, and then they'll really see what I'm doing. I'm not a battle rapper,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And then I also was like TGIDBF. Thank God I didn't battle Flawless. God damn. You know what I'm saying? So
You winning was important not only because you're incredibly talented, but I think it set the bar to a certain height. Lyrics and subject matter aren't necessarily being put in the pedestal that I feel like they should, especially on a hip hop level, you know. To see the winner of the show represent that to the fullest, I'm hoping will give a new generation kind of like, okay, this is what we're striving to be. We don't have to necessarily be the loudest or the whatever, the most caricature version of ourselves. We could just stay in our truth and speak to what matters to us, and that's enough.
I completely agree, man. That's what I was proud of. Like, cause I'm a teacher, you know, so being a teacher makes you aware of the effect of everything you do. Like, I'm like, God damn, they was paying attention when I did that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I cuss, and then they're like, oh, we can say shit now, huh? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it makes you aware of the effect of everything. So even on the show, I'm aware, like, damn, they about to see this. Damn, I know. And it's interviews that'll never, like how you and I are having a conversation, our BTS, not behind the scenes, but our OTF, on the fly, which is right after something happened. They like, all right, we do interviews on the fly, just so while it's fresh on your mind, we're getting these interviews. Man, those conversations by the end, you know, the producers knew which questions to ask because they were getting to know me, you know. And so I knew that whatever they chose, I was consistent, and that they would be able to find some moments where it's like, man, he's really speaking to the hearts of people. And the fact that I won made it mean to other people, like, that's the winning perspective. Like, fuck the winning performance. You know what I'm saying? You can't do me just like I can't do what the next person is doing. But the winning perspective is gold, and that's what I was proud of. I was proud that people are gonna be like, okay, this is what winning hip hop looks like. And so I pray that that's the truth. I pray that it's millions of kids that said they want to rap that's now like, okay, let me just learn all kind of shit. Let me just be open-minded. Let me be, you know, chill about my shit, you know.
Honey Jack.
So I start off like wicked-minded and kind-hearted. Aiming for entertainment, then you picked a fine target. Nothing normal or regular here. In the world of rectangles and squares, regular spheres are what I've grown to revere and respect. They neglect the rules and lines drawn. Mid-chaos, boss, they manage to find calm. Like, just paint this picture of just mindset, you know, and a couple drinks later, I'm right back to, like, you know, that, you know, fuck it energy. And so the juxtaposition of thoughtful and ignorant is what allows people to really deal with the duality of a human being. I learned a minute ago where you put the verses matter. If that third verse was a first verse, nobody would be fucking with it. Like, the song comes in, doo 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 doo, pour me up a drink, nigga. Bitch, I'm in the, like, but because it took it there, it's like, the video director was telling me, my friend Erica Ng, she was telling me a video has to have an arc. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it got. And that's that balance of while we're celebrating like the thoughtfulness of sipping, having a drink, the overboard looks like this. You know what I'm saying? And even in overboard, we're going to reach another thoughtful moment where it's like, you know I'm not supposed to say this. And, you know, how popular is it to be like, they kill our black heroes and then just give us one Avenger? Wakanda forever, my nigga. You know, more like, pour me a drink. I wonder what kind of liquor. You know, so that shit that, you know, in certain circles, it's gonna be like, we don't want that in our club or in our, you know, but it's there, you know.
It's the medicine in the applesauce.
The medicine in the applesauce. Yes.
That second verse,
the chocolate covered broccoli.
Yeah, because it's like, even like you said, the beginning of the third verse starts the way you started, but then it gets deep. As you flip through, then it's like you're talking about systematic.
Systematic oppression. We just servants indentured. Politicians retire while we work till we indentures. They kill our black heroes and then just give us one Avenger. Wakanda forever, my nigga. And then so, I don't want to give too much away, but my next project gonna have some shit in there. I tell you. So,
what can you tell us about the next project?
I can tell you the next project is both entertaining. It's gonna have some moments that shake you up, and it's also gonna give you a deeper dive into what made me who I am. You know, from my childhood, my family experience, but it's also gonna it has moments you're gonna see. Some family on there, you know what I'm saying? That's as much as I'm gonna say. It's dope. This shit is dope. It's coming soon.
So
it's coming really soon.
Another thing that's coming out, which I'm also really excited about, is a book.
A book, yes. I have a book that's gonna come out. I do things based on what's necessary. And I think it would be really good for the culture if, some people have a habit of waiting until they've reached a certain plateau in one area to do something else. Right. Almost like, this is what I'm gonna do as we sail off into the sunset. Whereas I'm actually debating, like, after this project, dropping a book. Now, I'm also like, I'm strategic in business, right? If there's like, if we create momentum in one area and that really impedes momentum that we won't get back to, then we'll have that conversation. But I want to release the book as early as possible, given the time that we're in, because hip hop culture, like, what books are the monumental books in hip hop culture? Like, this is one of ours. Has hip hop embraced the book? You know what I'm saying? Like, as a whole culture, like, all of the avenues that talk about rap, have they all been like, it's a new book out that we get behind? Hip hop stamps it. Rock Nation is fucking with it. Kendrick read it. He said something about it. Like, because hip hop will promote all kind of shit that is not rap. You know what I'm saying? And say it's part of the culture. But has it embraced the book, So if I did the book, and there are plenty hip-hop legends with books. I told Tip I got a book. Tip was like, I got 3. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn, nigga. How come I didn't know that, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think it may have something to do with at what point and how much energy we put into it. Do we use it at a point where it's like, I'm at the peak, and what I choose to do at the peak is this. You know what I'm saying? So it's a book called Vivid Isaiah, and it's about a kid in Inglewood who has a vivid imagination, who, because of his bravery, gets an invitation to a parallel universe where there are a different set of rules that govern how you move, exist, fight, and all kind of things. And so he's going back and forth between this world and Inglewood, and it's dope. It's supposed to be a movie, and will be. You know what I'm saying. So that's something I'm super excited about. And
I've heard you compare it to The Matrix, which is my favorite movie of all time. So I'm like, you already got me hooked on that.
Yes.
You said Boys in the Hood and The Matrix. Is that the combination that you?
There's a little bit of Boys in the Hood, but I think it was Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton. Sorry.
Straight Outta Compton and The Matrix, and inspired by The Alchemist, because you got this beautiful story. Because that's
the book, The Alchemist, not the producer.
The book, The Alchemist.
Yeah.
Which is this narrative of this dude on his journey and everything you learn and the influential people on this journey. And life happens like that. Everybody has somebody in their life who changes their perspective. Makes them, when they go from thinking everything is just how it's supposed to be like, oh, I got to go far, And so I felt like, Paulo Coelho was just in tune enough to write it from that perspective where it's like, here's all the spiritual insight along this journey. Right? What's our book like that? Like, I've talked to OGs to where it's like, I've never gotten more wisdom in a conversation than I have from these retired gangbanging ass OGs. You know what I'm saying? So all of our plights have these different morals in them. Mm-hmm. But what text do we have that's current, that has that worked into the narrative? So that was my goal when I set out to do it. And I used plenty of my own experiences and even down to my own homies' names in it and stuff, and they'll know who they are. Some of them I ain't even changed the name, like, yeah, that's you, motherfucker. But other homies, it's like I can put their nicknames in them, so.
Speaking of advice from OGs, can you leave us with some of the best?
My favorite bit of advice is Jay-Z's advice, when Jay said the smartest thing we ever did was kept going. I believe there's another book I'm reading, Jeff the Buddha and Me or something like that. It's like The Alchemist, but like a British kind of bar version of it. Like it says something like the universe sends you a message right when you need it, kind of thing, right before you give up. You know what I'm saying? So if you get to a place where it's way too complicated and you like, all right, keep going, then all of the insight that you need, all of the everything else is gonna come as long as you don't fucking quit. You know what I'm saying? So That's my biggest. The smartest thing I ever did was keep going, and that's from a 34-year-old breakout rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Bars.
So.
Man, any last words?
Man, God is great. Those are my last words. God is great.
Appreciate your time.
Man, it's a pleasure being here, man. And I'm gonna play this piano for
everybody.
Of course.